You know what I've noticed lately? Every few days, I'll scroll on TikTok or Instagram and see another video where a woman's talking about her experience with a rich dude. And I mean, makes sense, right? Like, you're talking about all the good times you had, all the trips you've been on, things of that nature. And the way she tells the story, you would think the man passed away. Like, some of these chicks are like, oh, he used to take me out on trips, he used to fly me out. Matter of fact, why am I even talking about it? Watch these videos.
Okay, so something that I've noticed about meeting really rich men in New York is that they most likely want to take you and your friends out. These aren't guys who just have like $1 or $2 million in the bank, or they're like an investment banker, or a lawyer or whatever. Like, these are the people who own the bank. They own the company. These guys not only want to keep you happy, but also your friends happy. I also think it's a great way to see who's really your friend or not. If someone is jealous and they don't mind throwing your friendship away to try to get more money, then that's a person that shouldn't be in your life anyways. But most likely, if a guy has all this money and he's spending it on you, he most likely wouldn't mind spending it on the people that you love as well. There's no need to gatekeep. Just like random thoughts that I'm having. Okay, bye.
Hey ladies, if you're watching this, I'm here to tell you, get you a rich man, start getting high value man, get you a Nigerian man. I'm telling you, it's time to live your soft girl life. There are men out here that wants to take care of you, that wants to put a smile on your face, okay? So I basically met this man and he asked me where in the world I want to go. And I chose London, and next thing you know, I was in London within 24 hours. When I say I was so shocked, I was shocked. Okay, y'all, he took me to the spa. It was just beautiful, okay? When I say I'm never settling, I'm never settling. He showed me top tier experiences, okay? You guys have to change your surroundings to find these men. You gotta start going to high-end restaurants. You gotta start going to golf clubs. You guys go to little mini coffee shops, The dudes that you're looking for, they're out here. His main priority was to make sure that I was happy, and I absolutely love that for me, okay? It starts with the mind, ladies. It starts with the mind. High standards prevent you from low quality experiences. I'll never go back to the bare minimum. We're only dating Nigerian men and high value men and men who wants to spoil us.
Yo, she talking about her last nigga paid her rent, paid her car note, paid all the bills, bought the kids whatever they wanted when they needed. Baby, that's all I needed to hear. You heard? Go apologize to that man.
But now, with that being said, and y'all just seen the videos, this leads me to ask one question, because these men are always held in such high esteem. My question is, if the experience was so good, why aren't you with him still?
What did he say?
Now, wait a minute, before anyone gets defensive, let's be absolutely real. This is not an attack, it is just an observation, because the topic isn't really about rich men or broke men. To be honest with you, it's about the illusion of value. So in this video, I want to break down why so many people, honestly not just women, but why so many people confuse access with connection, and why that mistake leaves you chasing experiences instead of building something real. I'm just saying, by the end of this, you're gonna see why some of these rich man experiences are actually more about validation than actual romance, love, and all that other shit. Now, here's the truth most people don't want to hear. When you date someone with money, you're not dating them. You're kind of like dating their lifestyle, especially if you're the broke one, right? Because like, if that person has money, you're gonna be a little more tolerable with the shit that they do. Unfortunately, I'm just saying. And I'm not gonna lie, I find this to be more true with women than with men. Again, this is not an attack, but for some ladies out there, and I'm saying this based off experience, right? Like, I've been a coach, I've worked at Equinox for a couple of years, I've had my own business as a coach, I had my own application, yada, yada, yada. So I've run into people like this. There are some women that are so okay with being treated like shit simply because their lifestyles are paid for, and their revenge is like spending the guy's money. I don't really see the value in something like that, but some women, they do their gymnastics, their mental gymnastics in order to make that make sense in their heads. Now, like I was saying, you're dating their lifestyle, right? So you're stepping into their world. You get to taste the best restaurants, the luxury trips, the chauffeur, the energy, blah, blah, blah. But here's the catch. It's not yours. And worse yet, it's low-key kind of borrowed. And depending on the state of the relationship, which more times these fail, it's on borrowed time. So really, what are we doing? You see, the problem is people confuse inclusion with intention. And now, just because someone brings you along with them doesn't mean they're building with you. And that's what I see over and over and over again online. And I'm serious, I see this shit over and 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 over again online. And what's so sad about it is there are so many impressionable younger women, 21 and up, that are watching these videos assuming this is how dating and relationships are supposed to go. Now, before I even continue, let me be incredibly clear on two things. The first one being, I personally don't see a problem with dating up, right? I think at this point now with the economy, everyone is trying to become, you know, some level of affluent, right? Like everyone wants some level of affluency, and that is bipartisan, quote unquote, right? Like as far as we're talking about genders. The issue here is that I think for a lot of people, now money has become such a large part of their identity that when it comes to relationships, and again, there's no problem with dating up, but dating up in a way where everything you're looking for is just for the lifestyle and it's superficial, you're not gonna get what you want out of it. Now, listen, ladies and men, if you find someone who's willing to spend money on you and, you know, they actually like you and treat you right, then by all means, go for it. And that's not what I'm talking about, right? Like, I'm not talking about the women or the men who meet affluent people, whether that be a man or woman, right? When they meet affluent people, sometimes these relationships go extremely well. But from what we hear most of the time online, I don't mean to be offensive, ladies, but it sounds like, because a lot of y'all say this in past tense, right? So it sounds like you're the experience. Y'all getting rented out like U-Haul trucks. I didn't make the rules. Let's continue. Now, these women will talk about how rich men treated them better, but they're saying it from a distance. It's not a partnership, because that man never saw them as an equal to begin with. He saw you as an accessory, unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess, depending on your morals or whatever. Now, this is the same mistake people make in business or friendships. They think proximity equals partnership, and it doesn't. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and talk about some friendships too. And again, this is bipartisan for both men and women. A lot of us are in friend groups with people we think are our friends, and we're not. They have their own group chat without you. They're talking shit about you, I'm sure of it. I want all of y'all, take this time right now, check in with that group chat, see if there's another one, because I guarantee you there is another one and you ain't a part of it, for sure. And for some of the women out there, I get their perspective, right? Like, I get it. When you've had struggle or when you've dated men who didn't have much to offer, that lifestyle feels like a dream. But here's the thing, a dream without ownership is just a rental. Now look, if you're still with me and you enjoy conversations on growth, dating, and relationships from a nuanced perspective and not in a form in which it's attacking someone or something, hit the subscribe button. We're on the way to 10K. I would love for you to be a part of this community and let's get some traction on these videos. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button, make sure you share it with the homie. Let's get back to the topic. Now let's go deeper. A lot of people, especially online, romanticize how it felt more than what it was. That's why you'll see comments like, oh, that rich man made me feel so feminine, or oh, he made me feel safe, and oh, he brought out my femininity and all that extra bullshit. And I'm not doubting it. I'm not doubting it at all. But what I'm saying is that feeling or that emotion you're getting is largely misplaced and misguided. Because think about it, safety that disappears the second the man does isn't safety, it's conditional comfort. And what's really going on here is emotional outsourcing, because instead of building self-worth, people are borrowing it from the experience, especially women. And that's why, I mean, there's a lot of reasons as to why dating culture just globally just fucking sucks. But the problem is, for a lot of people, they have this like can't go back. I call it the can't go back theory, right? Like once you have an experience, side note, any of you motherfuckers trying to take my theory, I swear to God, I'm shutting down any video you make about it. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is some people get to one certain level of experience, right? Like they go out to, I don't know, let's say they go out to One Oak, or they go out to the Ralph Lauren Club, or they go out to Catch NYC, one of my favorite restaurants. I love going to Catch. But let's say they go to Catch, or they do all that shit, right? And they never experienced any of that before. Now, it does not matter what you say to this person, mentally, they cannot go back. How are you going to tell me to go back to McDonald's with these broke ass niggas when I was just with some dude who spent $500 at Catch? That is the mindset for women. So us guys, when we see this from the outside looking in, we're like, she's been tainted. And I don't mean that in a derogatory term, right? Like there's nothing disgusting about you wanting fine dining. The problem is a lot of people assume that echelon of living is going to be the standard forever. But much like everything in life, shit ebbs and flows. The guy who's up might be on his way down, and the guy who's down might be on his way up. And the dude in the middle, he might just stay in the middle because he's just not doing anything. And what's so dangerous about people borrowing or inheriting their self-esteem from experiences is when it's over, they don't just lose the relationship, they lose their sense of value. Now, as a man, I'm gonna be real with you. When we see women talking like this, just like I said before, most of us can tell exactly what's going on. We don't see a woman who won. We see a woman who was the experience of another man. We see someone who got flown out, dressed up, maybe even spoiled. If you went to Dubai, you probably got shitted on. Don't even lie to me. But ultimately, she got used for a season and sent back. And the sad part is, some of these women genuinely believe that because they had access to a rich man, they were somehow elevated. But from a man's perspective, nah. We see a woman who doesn't realize she's being recycled. Because here's the thing, if that man truly valued you, he'd still be there. You get it now? A man doesn't keep what he doesn't respect. And if a man does keep something he doesn't respect, that's not a man. That is a manipulator and someone taking advantage of you. And ladies, please, for real, hear me out on this. Money does not make people loyal. Spending money on you doesn't mean the guy loves you more. It just gives them more tools and adventures to create experiences. That's really it. And listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. Going out is nice. Going on vacation is great. You know, it's a good time when you go out and, you know, especially as the guy, when you're spending money and you know you have money. And I'm not saying this from a perspective of like, you know, a nigga balling out of control. I'm not. But what I'm saying is when you spend money and, you know, you don't have to worry about like bills or anything like that, it does make you a more generous person. That's facts. But that's not reality at the same time, you know? And this, I think, what I'm about to say is going to be more pointed towards the Black community, because personally speaking, I think this is where this concept or this mindset really gets us fucked up. Because for the most part, that is not the average life of a Black person in America, right? I don't understand the idea or the concept to which these women now believe that a man must be, you know, a baller, X, Y, and Z before he can even have a chance to approach her. And I don't say that as though making money is a bad thing. I want to be affluent as well. I'm steadily working towards becoming someone that is making a lot of money, right? But what I'm trying to say is when you start to conflate money with someone's character and value and ultimately how they treat you, you're doing yourself a disservice. You know, you're setting yourself up for failure. Personally speaking, as far as this community is concerned, I guess one could say my community, but I mean, I'm Caribbean American. I don't know if y'all would even consider me a part of the community, but what I would say is all of us, regardless if you're from the diaspora or if you were, you know, born and bred in America, all of us need to realize that that is not life. Like the way you see the 1% and everyone else living is not how everyone else lives for the vast majority. And that doesn't even include skin color. Like to some degree, everyone is trying to make it right now. So I don't think it's conducive to have this conversation or just even create the content where, you know, women are constantly talking about how broke man ain't this, broke man ain't that, rich men are doing this, rich men are doing that, but you're not with him. So are you more okay with being used as a plaything, or would you rather be revered by, you know, someone who's, you know, trying to work? And let me get off the soapbox real quick, but before I do, I just want to say this. I know broke men can treat women terribly. So I hope your wheels are starting to turn and realizing that the material things aren't the things that matter so much in a relationship, but more so character, how you treat each other, how she treats you, how you treat her, etc., etc. Listen, you could go on lavish trips, you can stay in 5-star hotels, you can eat at Michelin restaurants, but if you're miserable, or worse, if you're getting disrespected, it's not a luxury experience, it's a gilded cage. money doesn't make the man. Money doesn't define a man's character. And it damn sure doesn't improve someone who's already a piece of shit. Now real quick, let me know in the comments, especially you ladies, I wanna know your rich nigga stories. So please leave them in the comments below. And while you're down there, do me a favor, please hit the subscribe button. Not that I'm begging you, but yo, if you hit the subscribe button, that gets me closer to 10K. The closer I am to 10K, the algorithm gods really start to work in my favor, and your boy could finally get the 6 series he's been eyeing for the last 10 years. So please, for the love of God, hit that subscribe button. Thanks. Now here's the ultimate truth. When people say rich men treat you better, what they really mean is rich men can afford to take you out to nice places and buy you nice things. And that's the saddest part about it all, right? Because now from the perspective of the rich man, you're a fucking target. Like you might be listening to this, or you know, whatever the case may be, you may be listening to something that's in the relevancy of what we're talking about here, and you know, you might think to yourself like, you know, like it does feel good to be rich, and I can imagine it probably does feel amazing to be rich, right? But I would like to err on the side of caution and tell you that in these days, you're nothing more than a target, more than, you know, a viable partner.
You're gonna have drastic changes if you're dating older men with money versus men your own age. You're gonna have drastic financial lifestyle changes for the better. You're dating older men that are financially stable and abundant, okay? That's just common sense. So, I didn't say you had to marry them. I didn't say you had to bear their children. I didn't say any of that. You could date them. And if it turns into something else, great. But you need to get all the debts paid off, and you need to have your bank account stacked while you're there.
Now, maybe I said that in a sweeping generality, but I think there's some credence to what I'm saying. You let me know what you think in the comments below. Now listen, the gifts, the trips, all that shit, that's not love. That's just simple logistics and material things. The question isn't, can he provide an experience? The question is, did you inspire commitment? Because real commitment is the one thing money can't buy. And look, this goes both ways, right? There are men chasing beautiful women the same way women chase wealthy men. It's the same addiction to external validation. And we're all looking for something shiny to distract us from our own emptiness. Let's be real about that. But when you stop chasing validation and start building value, that's when things start changing, because now you're not waiting to be chosen. You're curating what you'll allow. And that goes for both men and women. And when you become that grounded, that self-assured, that's magnetic. And you realize something powerful. You don't need a rich man or a rich woman to give you an experience when you can create one yourself. I know that might sound a little stupid for some people, but one thing I definitely encourage a lot of people, especially when I got out of my last relationship back in like 2019, one thing I definitely encourage a lot of people to do is spend time by yourself. You know, I think all those things that were happening to me at that time was the perfect catalyst, because when I had broken up, when I got out of that relationship, I was also living by myself, still living by myself, but at that time, like, that was new to me, you know? So like, I really had to learn how to take care of myself, how to keep my space clean, because, you know, you're not with your parents anymore, so you gotta do what you gotta do, but, you know, learn how to take care of myself, keep my space clean. And that's not to say those things were lost on me when I was a kid, right? Like, obviously when I was younger, I had my own disciplinary things that I would do to ensure that my room was clean and all that. But what I'm saying is, between getting out of relationships, spending that time alone, and doing a majority of the things that I normally did with her by myself, like go to restaurants, go to museums, you know, take yourself out, honestly, that reverberated in my own dating life. Because I never had an issue with creating dates, but the comfortability of creating the logistics and, you know, taking care of certain things, that was easier for me to do, because at some point, you know, I started doing it for myself, and that's the level you should be aiming for. So hold within yourself that luxury isn't a novelty, it's a reflection of your standards. So the next time you hear someone talking about how amazing their rich man experience was, ask yourself, was it really love or was it a lease? Because if the experience was that great, they'd still be there. Don't chase moments, build meaning. Now listen, if you like this video, if it hit close to home, do me a favor, leave your thoughts in the comments below. What did you agree with? What didn't you agree with? Ladies, have you ever had a rich man experience? If you did, are you still with him? If not, what happened? That's enough yapping for me today. Once again, thank you so much for watching the video. Stay tuned to watch one of these videos here, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.